you would please open up your chat box. And if you have something that you want to add but don't want to interrupt the moment, which is totally fine either way, just put it in there. We can also add information, and Herbert's already in there. And I'm going to type a little message so you guys can see that where we're at. Hopefully I spelled everything right. Okay, so if you want to join that little group chat, it should be in your little control bar there. So anyway, we've got John's getting excited down there. I'm not sure. We have got a lot of things to go over today. We've got a lot of new things at Surefy, and in fact, when we started going over all the things we had to do, we said, I don't know how we're going to get this in time. So we will definitely go through some of the new things, and then we'd love to get answers. One of the great things about this kind of forum is that you can ask any question you want. Hopefully we know the answer. If we don't, we can get it to you. So, but that's the nice thing about a kind of an informal setting like this is. Ask whatever you want to ask, and if any of you are new to Surefy and this is your first exposure, we will spend a little time talking about some of the earlier products as well, but we won't do that till the end. So those who are here for new things at Surefy, we'll be discussing those first. So anyway, so for those who are just joining us, welcome. We're going to get started with our What's New at Surefy. Let me quickly ask, Charlie, I can see your face up there. Are you able to see our shared screen that says What's New right there? Okay,
thank you.
Perfect. All right, so we are going to get rolling on this, and you're welcome, like I said, to interrupt us. In fact, please do if you have a question, or you can shoot it into the chat box, and we will keep an eye on that and answer questions as they come. Okay? All right, so first off, get that going. First off, a lot of new things at Surefy, but one thing I want to say is thank you for all you guys do to help us be successful. We have people out here from our distributors, some people from Control Products and different places. We have people here from other manufacturers. I know that we had some people on from Cellgate, and which we've worked with a lot in some different things. And so we're excited to have everyone here, as well as, most importantly, the installers and you guys who are doing it every day in the field, and we get to talk to you a lot on support calls and things, and we appreciate what you do. So let's get going. All right, so today we are going to talk about a handful of things. That was lovely, by the way. I was moving around like that. Brad puts things like that together for us. We are going to talk about recently released, just last week, the Relay Pro. We are going to talk about our portable access point. We are going to be talking about our emergency egress kit with the one-to-multiple aspect. We'll be talking about the serial data bridge, our solar kit that we are in the process of developing. It's been a lot of fun the last couple of days. And then also our one-to-many multiple endpoints into a single Surefy unit coming in. So a lot to go over. Some of this is already out in the field and available. A few things are not, and we'll just talk to you a little bit about where we are in that process and answer any questions. Is that all right? I got one person going yes because it's the only person with their video on, so we'll roll. All right, so let's first start with Relay Pro. You want to kind of cover Relay Pro?
So Relay Pro, we've had a lot of success with our Wiegand bridge and our Relay bridge, and with this one, we just had a lot of feedback saying that we wanted more relays. We wanted a unit that just had more relays on it. So we've delivered with this Relay Pro. It has 8 relays on it. It has 2 of the Form C mechanical, 3 or 5 of the solid state, and 1 Form A solid state. So it runs off of 12 or 24 AC or DC. Yep. So it just has a wide range of opportunities for you.
No, I had
relays.
Okay.
Daryl, did you have a question?
You are correct. What's
Daryl,
that?
what can we answer for you?
Okay. Sound like a deal.
I think Daryl's talking to somebody else, so we'll move on. One thing that's really nice about this, 8 relays each direction, so, a total of 16-ish, 8 relays each direction. I have been in a lot of applications that, especially with elevators and things like that, that they want to trigger all of the lift controllers from the elevator control, such as this picture shows. And you can do that with the 8 relays. You can also use the Wiegand bridge in an elevator application. You can use a lot of different things in there, but this is nice to be able to take all of those relays controlling an elevator, or if you've got, a bunch of gates that you want to use on relays, that you have someone at the front desk, they call up, say, open gate 7, and they just want to push the button. That works out great too. But you can do all that with an 8 relay each direction unit. So that's something new. What are your thoughts on this one? What questions do you have? Now, Tony, can you hear me? Tony Fournier. I don't know if he's...
Yeah, I can hear you. Sorry about that.
No, you're fine. I happen to know that you're not one that usually is very shy. What do you think about this Relay Pro product? Is this something that you can see being used in some applications? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely. And as you know, we've had great success with all branches with the product. So I'm sure we will with this as well.
Yeah, these guys have done a great job with that, and I appreciate it. There are no questions. We'll move on to the next product, especially because we have a lot of products to get through today. But yeah, the Relay Pro is exciting. It is currently available on the website, and I know that our distributors will be getting some of these out into their stores sometime soon as well. But they are always available to order through distributors as well. So, all right. So after the Relay Pro, we were talking about the portable access kit. Now this is interesting, and if you don't mind, I'll take this one. I had a gentleman call me from Southern Methodist University down in Texas, and right now Texas and Louisiana are getting pummeled pretty hard by that hurricane. So our thoughts are with them. But anyway, he gave me a call and he said, I need a way to, and he was connecting. He was using I believe it was a Secure one, the Secure system. And he said, I need a way to be able to contact trace people because of the COVID situation, contact trace people through all of the student areas. You've got cafeterias, libraries, bookstores, all sorts of places in the campus. And he wanted to use their access control system, which has, as you probably know if you know that system, a ridiculous number of possible credentials in them. And so he said, but sometimes we move it. Sometimes we want it here, and then we are going to take it to the other half of the library while we sanitize this half, and we just need to be able to move it. And so we developed with him a portable access kit. And this portable access kit basically plugs in at night. You unplug it, it just runs on a battery, and you take the Wiegand box. I've got one right here. Take the box with you. Can you see that? There we go. Take that box with you, and you can set it down. They can scan it as they go into the cafeteria, scan it as they leave, scan it as they go in the library or the bookstore, whatever, and then scan it as they leave. And this allows them to know exactly who's been in touch with who if someone comes down with the illness. So anyway, this was a really interesting one. This is something, obviously, you guys are all smart enough to build on your own. That's not a problem, but it is available. In fact, we've had, I think this last week, we had, we've got 20 something of these installed this last week, and they're getting 500 more ready. So it's going to be a big application, a big product for us. And it's just the Wiegand bridge again, but in the access control world, in this world that we find ourselves living in, a little bit strange. Anything on that you want to add?
I believe we have a little video that we put on here next that might talk a little bit about contact tracing.
Right.
In recent months, the world has become intimately familiar with new phrases like social distancing, pandemic, quarantine, flattening the curve, and contact tracing. With so many new concepts, it seems there are more questions than answers. One question commonly asked is, how do we contact trace infected people without infringing on privacy? Another, how are we going to return to universities, high schools, and elementaries and manage contact tracing of such a large number of people with varying schedules, traffic patterns, and day-to-day interactions? An administrator from a university in Texas called me with this concern, and we discussed in depth multiple solutions using the unique SureFi technology. SureFi has an answer. By using our portable access point, students scan a student card, and schools can track when a specific student enters or exits a library, classroom, or anywhere on campus. These units can be deployed anywhere because of the robust SureFi radio signal to log the activity information on the organization's access control or student data system, which can then be referred to when an individual tests positive for COVID. As an example, knowing exactly who is in the library at the same time as the infected individual simplifies and accelerates the ability to identify those who have possibly been exposed. This same concept and SureFi product can be used in airports, businesses, factories, or anywhere contact tracing is needed. The SureFi Portable Access Point, which enables privacy-protecting contact tracing, gets us back to school, work, and life.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Right. So, John, I know I overheard you on a phone call the other day that one of our installers, or a guy that was installing, was using this in a very unique way.
Oh, and the one in LA,
Yeah.
the one in Southern California. Yes, I will. I'll address this. That particular unit was very interesting. He took this unit that we built and he added it to his kiosk, which was able to scan people's temperature. And so what happened is they'd come in, scan their temperature. They disabled their access card every day. If the temperature passed, they'd swipe the card and then they would have access to the building. And these kiosks, he set up outside the building and he was taking them all over the place. So very interesting way to add the weekend ability, have the SureFi units even sitting out where they come in from the parking lot or wherever and shoot through the thing. So a lot of things you can do with it. Yeah, good. I kind of hadn't thought about that one yet. So, all right, perfect. We don't need to watch this one, right?
Nope.
All right. So the next thing we're going to talk about is our solar solution. Now, this is a fun one for me. I have a lot of solar at my house, but Brad has kind of been spearheading this, so I'm going to let him take this one on.
Yeah, as training directors, we've got a lot of phone calls, and in our webinars and stuff, this question has come up a lot. Does this work with solar? And the answer is yes. But a lot of times people have been a little bit hesitant about, well, what kind of solar panels do I need? What chargers and different things like that, different questions. They're like, what's the best solar to use? What do you guys have any recommendations? And so I've worked with John and with some of our engineers, and we've tried to figure out, let's go ahead and get a kit together. So this should be available on our website soon. And it's an option where you guys can go on and kind of see what some of our recommendations are, some of the products that we've used solar with that we've liked. You could use other things as well, but these are some of the good ones that we are comfortable with, that we've used. They've kind of proven themselves over time. And so,
and we've also tested these, for example, setting them up so that they were sending a test signal once a minute, and so as any solution, as you guys know, any solution has a "it depends" clause, right?
Yeah.
But in this situation, we tried to think, okay, what is the most often, or how can we test this to the most rigorous standards? And we used, we're going to have a high sun and a low sun option. And then we've also tested it on those batteries, and we've had plenty of room. We're excited about it. The enclosure itself will fit a 15 amp hour battery, but of course you can send that out, the whole system out to a much larger battery if you're using a DC solar application for perhaps a gate controller or whatever. So anyway, it's kind of a fun one. Like Brad said, we don't have it quite yet ready to go, but it should be showing up there in the next week or two. So any questions on those we've talked about so far? We kind of feel like just talking. So we talked about the solar and the portable access. Anything that you guys are thinking, questions or comments that you're thinking about? You don't need to be shy. We're just kind of, well, you can be shy if you want, I guess. But.
All right. So one of the other things that we did was we used our low voltage relay to get up to 8 access points. And we were talking to an installer that told us about an application he used on an HOA. And so we've made a video to show you a little bit about how this bridge can be used to be put in a Knox box. So with one push of a button, it sent out a relays, unlocked all of the doors in this HOA so that the firemen and emergency responders could go in and access the parts of this HOA that were needed. So I'll go ahead and show you this as soon as you...
Yeah, let me jump in real quick. Now, I may quote this not 100% positively, but I believe it was 2014 NFPA said that all normally closed contacts like mag locks, whatever, have to be controlled through like a fire panel, be able to interrupt that separate from the access control system. And this request was an extension of that concern at a large HOA down in Texas.
Building. Emergency access is needed.
Entry. Double metal plate. Time consuming.
Every second matters.
When seconds count, first responders have to get in to save lives. The sooner they get in, the more they can save and better the chance they stay alive. Lakeside Apartments is a large HOA in Irving, Texas. They hired Jonathan with Doors in Motion to install a single button in a Knox box that when pressed opens all the common areas like the gates, clubhouse, and pool areas all at once. By using the one-to-many aspects of SureFi, he was able to interrupt the normally closed door hardware, allowing firemen access in any emergency with a standalone SureFi controlled system. SureFi, giving emergency personnel the fastest access.
Okay. As you know, some people do this a lot of different ways. Some people will put a unit down by the access control panel and then send it wirelessly or whatever. There's a lot of different ways to do this, but SureFi does give you an option to make it so one button, one relay can open everything. In fact, I think at that Lakeside Apartments, if I remember correctly, there were 27 access points that could all open at the same time. With, I think he had a click to enter, might have been a Knox box. Anyway, what questions do you have? Please interrupt us as we go. Oh, all right. Okay, you were there.
All right, yeah.
Okay, sorry.
All right, you were talking about us, I went back.
Okay,
Pardon us.
my apologies.
All right, so another one, we just launched this yesterday, is our Serial Pro wireless bridge. This one we have had just a lot of people reaching out to us wanting this, and it will do RS-232 or RS-485 in a low data rate. So it has 2 relays back and forth. It does half duplex, bidirectional. It has 4 state supervised or 2 4-state supervised inputs, and it really works well for low data or event-driven serial devices. That's one of our limitations, is we can go very long distances, but we are relatively low data.
You know, one thing that's important, and I've been out on, I don't know, about 12 or so tests of the serial bridge in different formats and applications. Sometimes it works amazingly, and sometimes it needs some adjustment and it needs to be tweaked, and sometimes the polling rates and things like that just aren't appropriate, not a great fit for it. But if this is something that you need, like the video we're going to show you next was, I went out on this job and they had lost wire between a building that was an outbuilding at a school, and they had a 4-door controller out there. They just needed to get that RS-232 back to the head-end panel, and this was really the best solution for them. Could they have put 4, Surefire Wiegand bridges there and then shot it back? And yes, they could have, but this allowed them to save the money they had spent on that 4-door expansion and just replace the wire.
The new serial data bridge from Surefire is nearing completion in its development. Bryce from Omni Security in Idaho found a great application where this product can save a great deal of time in an access control situation. The serial data bridge is designed to accommodate RS-232 and 485 protocols, and this use case is connecting an RBH Integra 32 controller to a 4-door expansion board on the other side of the school. Normally, you would have to pull control wire from the controller all the way out to the 4-door expansion board, or use Surefire units at each door. As you can see, Bryce here is connecting the RS-232 wires just as you would if it were hardwired into the RS-232 in, out, and ground ports. He then connects the remote side the same way, sets it inside a metal box, and we are set to go. No wires, no hassle. This serial data bridge allows integrators flexibility in planning which doors to make wireless and how to design their system. Surefire serial data bridge is another way. Surefire is making your job easier.
Okay, now this one is one that we kind of need to throw a few caveats in. A lot of people have been very excited about this, the RS-45, RS-232 bridge, which is now available. But here's the caveat. Here's the qualifier, if that's okay to say. Yes, it can do a lot of things, but because the fact that it's radio, there are some things that it cannot do, and we've put them out here on this slide for you to take a look at. It has been a great solution for a handful of places, but other places it's taken some special work with. Now, here's something that I would like to say though, and this is where we have been working with a handful of manufacturers. And right now, since we don't have it released yet with them, I'm going to refrain from sharing their names, but I can think of 3 at least right now that we are working with their programmers and their engineers so that their system can work with our system. And that's specifically with things like you've got fingerprint readers, iris scanners, things like that. You also have things such as some companies have a card reader or a phone reader that will allow you some other features, like you can wave at it or tap it or whatever, and it'll allow you to go in. Some of these companies are the ones we're working with. And I also know that we've got some people here on our webinar today that are from some other manufacturers, and I make this invitation that both this and our next product are some that a lot of other manufacturers are looking at and working with us to be compatible. We will make that same invitation to you to reach out to us, and we can make this compatible with your systems with the right type of programming and things like that. Am I missing anything on that?
No, I think you've got it good.
Okay. When you order something like this, if you do it from our site, and those of you who are selling our product, and notice we have some control products guys on here, those of you who are selling our product, it's important to realize that they need to check with us to see if it's going to work or has a good fit to work with their system. When you go to, this is an MSRP price. This is not what the pros or the or suppliers are going to pay for it. But when you go to your cart and add it to your cart, it says on here, please review the product details before completing your purchase, and warns that if it's not something that fits those requirements, it may not work and wouldn't be refunded. So make sure that you call us, talk to our people, and see if this is going to be a good possibility for you. Any questions about that? I know that RS-45 and 232 is kind of a big deal. in the access control world moving forward. Thoughts or ideas, questions in regards to that new product? Okay, we are going to just keep rolling then. And David, I'm not sure what he meant by that, but we got your message. All right, let's click on to our next thing. Oh, that's just an up close for you to see what that is. Now, this is a really interesting product right here. I have been asked for the last 2 years at every installation that I go to, help with, do whatever, by our professionals.
I have to give them credit though. They have done an excellent job of making that wall of Surefire just look gorgeous.
They do, you know, and that's
They do a great job.
So as what he's referring to is obviously when you're doing a one-to-one, if you've got 30 access points, you're going to have a wall of DIN rail and 30 Surefires lined up there, all bringing that, you know, in from all over around the HOA or the university or whatever, and then it's all hardwired into the access panel. Well, the thing that they always ask me though is there any way to do this like a one-to-many? So I have one thing here and a bunch of stuff out there, and we can self-address and everything. And of course, as you know, Wiegand doesn't self-address, but what we have done is we have developed and had in our own facility, we've been using it for the last 2 years, a one-to-N, which is a one-to-multiple. And this particular unit that we've had in our facilities is one that can bring up to 200 access points into it, and then it just goes directly into the cloud. Now, we are a radio company, and we are not really interested in replacing any of those controllers. We're not interested in running a back system at all. Any kind of cloud-based control. What we have been doing with it is we're working with some of these companies I mentioned, and we are working with their programmers so that any of the Surefire family of products can come into the one-to-N. And like I said, we've had over 200 of these come into a single point. But of course, you're saying, well, how do we wire that? Well, the Surefire units themselves work as the address point instead of the Wiegand device. And then this would plug into the access panel. And so then the access panel would look at that as an expansion board that has 30 doors on it, or 50 doors, or 200 doors, or whatever. And that allows them to do a couple things. It saves them a ton of money because in the one-to-one situation, you have to buy the remote interface and the controller interface. Well, this takes away the controller interface. So it's cheaper to do the doors, number one. Number two, it means that you don't have to use as many expansion boards and door expansions. But here's the great thing. Let's say you're a company that's selling the card readers, the door strikes, everything. All of that is going to multiply because you can do it so instead of going into a building and like, all right, well, we'll do those 6 doors, or those 9 or 10 doors or whatever, it's kind of expensive. It's gonna be hard to get. We're not gonna do that. This makes it so all of that is less expensive, number one. Number two, the installer doesn't have to take the time to wire one into each door. And if you have something, for example, an expansion board that has a bad relay on it or something, you're gonna hit that. The other thing that I think people don't realize is it takes away the risk. When you're out there doing a bid, you go out there and you say, okay, I know I'm gonna need these controllers and these doors, hardware, and that's pretty solid. You know what that number is. And then you come to the labor and you go, oh, I don't know how long this is gonna take. I don't know what we're gonna run into. And so the one-to-N that we're developing right now, and it's going to be kind of a proprietary thing. We'll have a one-to-N that's going to be specific to this company, then a one-to-N specific to that company, and one-to-N specific to this company, because we're working together with those companies to get all of our code together and all of our programming to work specifically with their company. So we would have, for example, I know that now I think David.
Yeah, David's asking what the time frame is on release date.
Now I think David, if I remember right, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think he's from a manufacturer. I'm not positive. it has been, like I said, functioning in our campus, which is 6 buildings over a mile apart, for the last 2 years. We're very confident in that. What we're working on right now is working with those companies to match this side with this side so we can talk to each other. I don't think, from what I can tell, and we're not in the programming side, but I don't think we're very far away from having some of those available. But here's the thing, as soon as those are available, that company, that manufacturer is going to have, head and shoulders above other manufacturers on what can be done, because there's no wiring. You just take an Ethernet from the 1 to N, connect it right into their panel, and they're done. And so that's gonna be really nice. But my guess, and it's just a guess, I'll bet within 2 months we've got something available for at least some of the companies that we're currently working with. So hopefully that answered the question, David. If you have a follow-up question, please interrupt or whatever. Other questions on the 1 to N system. Now, this is, like I said, we're working with companies. If you have a company that you think, you know what, this would work great with the system, and I install a lot of this company, this particular product, let's get in touch with them. In fact, almost all of our connections with companies has been a big installer of this company would call them and say, hey, I'm using SureFi and I want to use this 1 to N. What would it take to get you guys to work with them? And basically we get together and we start sharing code and make it work. So this is kind of an invitation out there. Any of you who want to have a specific product connected to our 1 to N and serial data bridge, please contact us and we'll make this happen. So what other questions do you have? We've been kind of talking the whole time. What questions do you have about other things we're working on, problems, issues, anything that we can answer for you? You just went, okay. Sounds like I've put you all to sleep, or we've explained it fairly well. There are so many small aspects of this that can be worked out, but serial data and 1 to N, like I said, is going to be kind of a product by product system. The others are out of the box, ready to go, can work with, are pretty agnostic to any system, can work with anybody. And we're really excited about them. They've been really great. I've really enjoyed going out on these installs. I've done about 300 so far, and always enjoy watching what all of these installers come up with. They're amazing. So, Tony, you're lit up. Or do you have a question, sir? Nope, doesn't look like it. All right.
No, I think someone else had a question. Actually, I saw a message on the bottom.
Oh, where is the Access Pro? Great. You want to take it or you want me to take it?
Go ahead.
Okay. Access Pro, which for some people, and it's a great question, it's Herbert, yep. For those of you who don't know, the Access Pro is very similar to our Wiegand bridge. However, it also will expand to use OSDP, which is a protocol that's up and coming. And I'm not an expert on OSDP, but if I remember correctly, it also adds encryption above and beyond what Wiegand would do, and also self-addressing, if what I understand. I know that our engineers and programmers have been working on this Access Pro to be able to do that. I would like to say that we're probably looking about end of Q3 is what we're shooting for. As you know, development can tweak one way or the other, might be faster, might be slower, but I'd look for it shooting toward the end of Q3. I hope that answers the question. So, any other questions to either type or just jump in there? We're actually just kind of sitting in one of our labs. Brad and I get the opportunity to play around with these kits in here, and the solar kit, develop that, and the different things we get to play in these labs, and it's kind of a fun situation when we're not out working on installations. So any other questions in regards to those products? I know that we have a lot of people from different manufacturers and things on today. Once again, please reach out to us by way of how to get those products working together with ours. I'm going to actually, if I can get over here, I'm going to skip over to our contact page so that you will know how to contact us. For those of you who do not have an evaluation kit, please contact us and let us know. Evaluation kits are basically the radio that you can take and prove that it will work through any obstruction. They're really amazing radios that work differently than anyone else. Our radio runs on what's called chirp modulation. We have 23 patents on it. It's a pretty great radio. So please reach out to us. We may even contact some of you if you have questions. So that's all we have for the day. If you have anything else by way of questions, please jump in. We'll hang on for a second. And while we're kind of being quiet, Kirby, I'm going to give John a call in regards to your question that we talked about in the beginning. And he's down in Philippines working on getting our radio to work with their system limitations down there. So Kirby, I'll touch base with him on that. And I'll get back with you. Okay, Charlie, if you will, you sent me a private message, I will respond to you. In fact, why don't you give me a call if that's okay? And I'll also check into, I think I've got your phone number because you signed up for this. Either give me a call or I'll call you back and we can arrange to get the presentation to you, okay? And that goes for anybody who would like to have some the presentation as much as we can, so.
We are recording this and we usually post it on our website, surefy.com, so that you can rewatch it.
No guarantees on the ugly face of us, sorry about that. Sorry we're not better looking, but.
Yeah, it should go live later today on our website. We also have lots of YouTube videos we will talk to installers that are out working and they'll tell us a really cool installation. So we'll either go and film or they'll film, and we put out promotional videos every week on what you guys are doing out in the field. And so we will feature some jobs or some installs and post them on YouTube so you guys can get ideas on how to use Surefy and how to add value to your business and what you can offer your customers as well.
Yeah, fantastic. And those we have a Surefy channel as well as just go to our website and it'll link you over. So great questions. Thank you, Charlie. Thank you all for joining us today. We'll give it just a second. If you have any other questions, please unmute yourself and ask us, and we'll get, or if you do not have an evaluation kit, we'd love for you to let us know either in the chat or contact us individually.
Yep, and you're welcome to contact us individually. We do individual webinars, go over all of our products. We have an advanced wiring presentation that we do to help any techs or anything, any of your customers or technicians be able to use our products with more confidence. And so we're a resource. We're here for you, so you can contact us to get set up for some training, product overview, advanced wiring, or what's new.
Any other questions? So thanks for being here, you guys. We'll look forward to, we'll do another one next month, what's new, but we can also do some for you individually for your companies, and we're here for any questions. Thanks so much. Have a safe rest of your day.
Thanks, Ron.
Thank you.